We on the streets in the war zones, pushing this truth until we get called home. I got brothers I could fall on, any situation brothers I could call on. All we gotta do is log on, send a chain message seeing if the God's home. Our brother need help now, no matter what it is, we deny self now. Nobody getting let down, for the most high we gotta put our best down. Man, I love this brotherhood. On the road again, hitting up another hood. Up north, down south, Midwest, it don't matter, we gon' bring it out. Scriptures keep ringing out. We gon' speak it, we gon' rap it, even sing it out. Camp shirts blinging out. We gon' shine with these laws, what you be about?
Shalom. Most High in Christ bless everybody. Welcome to today's class. I'm Brother Raphael, and to my left,
Brother Jacob.
Today's topic is called, "And he gave life and power to the image of the beast." Okay, today's topic, where we're going to deal with brothers and sisters, it won't be a lot of scriptures today. It's going to be a little bit of scriptures, but we're going to touch some very important points. It's going to be a lot of history. As y'all do know, this is biblical histories. So join us in going over the histories of the Renaissance, because that's basically what we're dealing with, the Renaissance period, which is named the rebirth of this man's rulership. Keep in mind, that's what we're going to do today, Lord's will.
It is also, they refer to it as a reconquista.
Okay.
Them reconquering.
So join us in going over the history today, historical facts, media references, all these different things is going to show clearly who is doing all this stuff. You know, we always tell everybody that we're dealing with the devil. Trust and believe, when you read these scriptures and when you go over this history, it's going to clearly show you who's behind all this. Okay? Now, it's customary. You just can't say you have Christ and no laws, and laws no Christ. You have to be coupled together. Let me give you the book of Isaiah, chapter 8, and verse 20, brother. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8, and verse 20.
Go ahead.
To the law. And to the testimony.
The Bible says to the law, as we do know, the laws are compacted from Genesis all the way to Revelation, and the testimony. So now let's go to the precept of testimony. It's the testimony according to the Bible. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 10, brother.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19, and verse 10.
Go ahead.
And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus.
The testimony of the Messiah, the King of Kings, Christ. Some of y'all may say Yahweh Shai. We know him as the Son of the Most High. Go ahead, brother.
Worship God.
Worship the Most High. We call him the Most High because there's no other God above him. Go ahead.
For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
The testimony of Christ is the spirit of prophecy. Understand something, brothers and sisters. If you don't have the spirit of Christ on you, you will not understand the Bible in its entirety. We will be lost in the sauce. Back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 20. And I want Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23, brother. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8, and verse 20.
To
the law.
Go ahead.
And to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word,
go ahead.
It is because there is no light in them.
Because if your spiritual leader don't speak precept upon precept, line upon lines, as it is written, there is no light in them. Okay? Let's find out what light is according to the Bible. The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, and verse 23. Go ahead, brother.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, and verse 23.
Go ahead.
For the commandment is a lamp.
Go ahead.
And the law is light.
The law is light because the law is what it does. It helps you navigate through sin, which is darkness. Okay? Go ahead.
And reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
And reproofs of instructions are the way of life, because reproof is correction. It corrects you from being a sinner to being what? To being righteous in the faith of Christ, keep the commandments. So now the rebirth. Okay, the rebirth, what they would call the Renaissance period. Okay, we're going to find out the timeline, which is very important, very informative. When he reads over it, we're going to hit a few scriptures, but not a lot today. Just a lot of reading. Okay, so just join us. Be patient. Hopefully you can get something out of today's class. But first, before you do that, brother, let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 3. Since we get into it. Since we getting into it, because, we say you're reading, right?
Right.
So, hey, listen, this is what the scriptures say. Like I said, just join us. Like I said before, the book of Revelation, chapter 1, is in verse 3.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Blessed is he that readeth.
The Bible says, blessed is he that readeth. Okay, go ahead.
And they that hear the words of this prophecy.
They that hear the words of the prophecy. We're going to touch a little bit of prophecies to show you how these things came to pass. Okay, go ahead, brother.
And keep those things which are written therein. For the time is at hand.
For the time is at hand. As you do know, you are in the best time as a repentant Israelite. This is the last captivity. Be, excited about that. Get ourselves together. But one more scripture, brother, before you read the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. And then you get into the reading, and then we just going to hit a few scriptures here and there, but it's going to be a lot of reading. So just join us and just be patient, because it's going to be a lot of good things that's very informative. Some things that, we all didn't know. A lot of this history is hidden, brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. I mean, they hide a lot of things from us. That's why we don't know that we are the so-called blacks and the so-called Hispanics, whose fathers are Negroid and Indian descent, Native Americans, basically. We are the biblical Israelites. They've been hiding that from us for centuries. That's why a lot of us don't even know when we get into this history.
Like the history we just found out today about the natives.
Right. In Canada.
All those unmarked graves.
Yeah, because what they did to the natives up there, the indigenous people, the natives, what they did was the same thing they did to the natives here. Basically, what they did was they took their culture, forced Christianity on. That's a true cult, because either you accept Christianity or you're going to die. That's exactly what they did with the Spanish conquistadors. And we're going to find out during the rebirth time what they were doing, and they're still doing today under Christianity. We keep telling y'all that Christianity is the biggest cult known to man. We keep telling y'all that. Y'all think we're in a cult, but trust and believe, once we go over this history, let me tell you something. You make the decision what the cult is. Okay? You make the decision. All we're going to do is show you.
Perfect for this verse right here.
Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32.
Go ahead, brother.
And ye shall know the truth.
And ye shall know the truth. What is the truth? Keeping the commands and the faith of Christ. Christ is the truth, for goodness sake. Go ahead, brother.
And the truth shall make you free.
The truth shall make you free. Free your mind. Free your mind from all this rhetoric and these lies. That's what the truth does. Truth is going to spring out of the earth. That's the prophecy. That's what's happening right now. Truth is springing out of the earth. So let's get to it, brother.
Right. So before I hit it, I want to put one verse to warm you up. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 3. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
And who is this talking about? It's talking about Rome.
Right.
It's talking about Rome. We're going to deal with the timeline, the rebirth, the Renaissance, when this man came back into power. As we do know it today, America is the extension of the first beast, is Rome. Y'all have to keep, when you read in Daniel, it explains it more. We're not going to get into Daniel right now. We're just going to go to the history. Straight to the history. That was a good point. We're going to stay in Revelation 13. And we're going to show some time periods when that stuff will start to take place. And remember, you have to ask yourself a serious question. Who is doing this? We're going to show you who's behind all this, brothers and
Right.
sisters. It's going to show you. The best way to trace Esau, we tell y'all this, his wars and his money and his politics. I'm going to say it again. His wars, his money, and his politics and his images. Because what he does with images, images speak 1,000 words, brothers and sisters. That's why we hate each other, because of these images. Okay? We're going to get right into it,
Okay.
into the history.
So we have everything right here on my computer, and what we're going to do, I'm going to read it, I'm going to go to these websites on here, and I'm going to drop them in the video. So you're going to see everything that we see. Now, we're going to start with, we're going to Wikipedia, if it'll let me. What's it doing?
You got too much truth on your tongue. They're trying to hinder the work, but it won't happen. You can't stop the truth.
Well, it wouldn't let me go there now.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, cool.
So I'm on Wiki. You're going to see it. This is Massacre of 1391. I'm just going to jump right into it. It says, also known as the Pogroms of 1391. The Massacre of 1391 was a display of anti-Semitism and violence against Jews in Spain. It was one of the Middle Ages' largest attacks on Jews who were ultimately given the choice of converting or leaving Spain. Now, this is not talking about the so-called white man that's over in Israel now. This is talking about us. And I'm going to show you later. All right, it says, while Jews in the Iberian Peninsula, so the Iberian Peninsula, you know of it as Spain and Portugal today. It used to be called Al-Andalus, and even today they still call it the Iberian Peninsula, but that's what it's talking about, Spain and Portugal. Were generally disliked. Violence against Jews was common even until the 15th century. However, 1391 marked a peak in the violence against Jews. So the great persecution that came upon us and during the Reconquista or the Renaissance, this was when it really started. 1391. So that's all I'm reading on there. It's going to be on the video, but now I'm going to jump into the history that we have, the books that we have. First one is Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in Spanish and Portuguese discoveries. We have that. We're going to read directly. We're going to read out of it. I'm not sure what page this is, but it'll be in the video. It says, it only remains for me to add a few words of explanation regarding the Marranos, or secret Jews, and their status. So that's one of the names that they called us. So a Marrano was one of our people that were behaving or acting like we were Christians, but we really weren't. We was keeping commandments. It says the terrible massacres of 1391 and later persecutions had compelled or induced vast numbers of Jews to submit to baptism. So who, like you're saying, we're going to find out who the cult is. So they were forcing us, either you accepted Christianity and got baptized, or you got put to death. Since the great majority of these converts adhered to Judaism more firmly than is commonly supposed, though they had succumbed to force, anosem, and had become Christians in appearance or outwardly, they lived according to the precepts and laws of their ancestral faith. So our brothers and sisters over there were faking it. They were acting like they were Christians, but they were still keeping commandments. We did a class a while back, the spirit of Satan and the true cult, where we showed how they were killing us for keeping commandments.
Did you want to go into Maccabees a little bit, or you want to wait?
Which, what, 3?
Yeah, and just show, because this is in 1391. 1,000 years, we got to figure before that, in the time, not just ask.
No, we'll wait.
We'll
wait.
And the reason why I say that, brothers and sisters, because this man is a creature of habit.
I know that's right.
Okay, we just talked about it today. He does the same. He has the same spirit on him. He forces you to accept his customs and his religions. And if you don't, he'll put you to death. And that's what he did to our forefathers and foremothers during the time of the Greek captivity. The Greeks and the Romans are the same people. Let's just keep it real, okay? They were just fused together. I just want to bring that point out, brother. But
oh, yeah. As soon as we get to the images, yeah.
Okay.
All right, this is the next page. And so this guy is showing, he's trying to show somebody how you can tell who a Jew is. It says, Sire, if you wish to ascertain how the Anusim, or secret Jews, observe the Sabbath, let us ascend this tower. Behold, there, the house of a pseudo-Christian. Yonder is another, and here are several more. However cold the weather may be, you would not see smoke rising from any of these dwellings, for it is the Sabbath. So we didn't understand, that you can kindle a fire to keep warm. That just meant you ain't supposed to be cooking. So they could look over the city and see who's a Jew and who not by what you're doing. It says, you will not see smoke rising from any of these dwellings, for it is the Sabbath. And on that day, the secret Jews allow no fire to be kindled. They also have a man who slaughters animals for them according to the Jewish rites and brings the meat to their houses, and another who performs circumcision, so they could tell who we were by our actions. The next page, the expulsion of the Jews from Spain is closely connected with Columbus's expedition and with the discovery of America. So everything right now, all this is about timeline. That's what we're stressing. Timeline. It's going to start to come together for you. So 1391 is when the persecution started. So we're looking at all these different things that's going to happen. We're going to go into when they started bringing images, when they started bringing in doctrines, when they started making their own versions of Bibles, everything.
I want to go over Malachi right quick.
Yeah.
I want to show you something. We're going to go to Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. We're showing y'all the rebirth and how it was prophesied in Malachi. Showing y'all something. Because Malachi is a prophet. Okay? And keep in mind, brothers and sisters, you have the Persia media captivity during this time. So what this is going on, remember, he's prophesying about something that's in the future right now. Okay, we have to show you this, the rebirth. He's telling you this right here. Okay, start at verse 1. And remember, Paul actually reiterates this in the book of Romans too. This is where he actually gets it from. For some of y'all who don't think Paul dealt with the Old Testament, okay?
Right, the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi.
By Malachi the prophet. He is the prophet. Go ahead, brother.
I have loved you, saith the Lord.
I have loved you, saith the Lord. Go ahead.
Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Go ahead.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
Listen, Esau is the father of the Edomites. He is the so-called white man. He said, was not Esau Jacob's brother? Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
Yet I love Jacob.
Yet I love Jacob. That's where Apostle Paul is getting this from. Read on, brother.
And I hated Esau.
I hated Esau. You think he still hates Esau? You better believe he does. Read on, brother.
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Because if you look at Mount Seir, it's desolate. Okay, and also this also goes back to when Rome fell in 193 AD too, by the hand of Septimius Severus as well, because he fell. Okay, Rome fell. People won't tell you how Rome fell, but Rome fell But check this out, though. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished.
We are impoverished because at this time Esau is down for the count. He's down for the count. Okay, plus his place, Mount Seir, is desolate as hell. Read on.
We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts.
That's where rebirth comes in. This man came back under power. We're going to show you 1391, what we call is the rebirth, the Renaissance period. He rose as Rome and also as Spain. Okay, go ahead.
They shall build, but I will throw down.
That's how the Most High has to be who he is. What we say, we're going to throw down today? The Lord said, he said, but Esau's a builder. He said, I will build. In his spirit, he thinks thousands of years into the future. Hundreds of years in the future. Go ahead.
He said, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Go ahead.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness.
The border of wickedness. Wherever this man resides, it is wickedness going on. That's what the Bible says. The Most High know who he created. So y'all keep on saying, oh, y'all just talk about them. No, the Lord is telling you who this man is. And you're going to find out what he's still doing today. Read on.
And the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever.
Righteous hatred. The Most High has righteous hatred for this man forever. Because this man hates the Most High. His whole society is against the Most High. He breaks every commandment. The Lord said don't do something. He said you can do it. You can do it freely. The Lord said don't eat pork. Oh, pork is new white meat.
So this man, after 9/11, went into Afghanistan. Now they done pulled out, and as fast as they can pull out, the Taliban and took the country back over. They ain't got but a few places left that the Afghan government is controlling. All for what? Just now you got people over there in Christianity.
Exactly.
And now the Taliban, they're gonna kill him. They're gonna kill him. This man, him and his confusion.
The border of wickedness. We just showed y'all the Lord know who he created. He created the wasted to destroy. Esau only means wasted away is he. Okay, this man's created for that purpose. Okay, straight up. And we just gonna show y'all it ain't a hate campaign, it's a truth campaign. We're gonna go over the media references, but I just want to bring those points off.
Sure. So now, same book, Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in Spanish and Portuguese discoveries. This is page 82. It says on March 31st, 1492. Keep that date in mind. The Catholic monarch sent forth from the place of the Alhambra the edict that all Jews and Jewesses of every age, on pain of death, leave all the kingdoms and lands of Spain within 4 months. See that? Pain of death. You either had to accept Christianity or leave or die. That's a cult right there.
You ain't never known no Israelites. You never seen no Israelite organization. I can speak for my nation. I've never known any Israelite organization ever threaten anyone's life if you don't believe what we believe. I've never seen it. And even in history, you've never known any Israelites, period, okay, that have snatched up people, hung them on trees, burned menorahs in their yard.
Right.
Okay? Snatch them up and force them to eat lamb. Okay? You ain't never see us do that. But you force us to eat pork.
Right.
You see? We didn't make you I'm not trying to be facetious and funny, but I'm just being honest.
It's true, man.
So y'all to call us black Hebrew Israelites, to call us a cult, that's crazy. We've never done. Christianity has had so many cults, it's not even funny. We're going to read about some of this stuff. You know? And I'm just being honest. I mean, y'all need to think sometimes, brothers and sisters.
Right.
Christianity is really, let's just be honest, it's insanity. Because some of y'all follow this stuff, not realize the birthplace of it, where it came from, and what does it represent, and what you're representing. Think about that. I just want to bring those points out, brother.
Okay, it says, the edict which was signed by Ferdinand and Isabella. That's the king and queen.
Yep. In Spain.
Is of wholly religious character, especially as regards the chief reason given for the act. If I remember correctly, Isabella bragged about she only bathed 2 times in her life. Y'all better understand who y'all following.
These people, let's just be honest, y'all. We have laws that tell us to wash ourselves. Okay? There's nowhere in the world I can go a day without soap and water hitting me. Okay? I'm sorry. But for her to brag about something like that, she's a woman. You know, women supposed to be clean. Supposed to be. See, this is what y'all see. These people are who y'all follow. Mm-hmm. Keep on following these people.
All right, next page. Mm-hmm. Says on April 30th, 1492, trumpets were sounded and the alcohols publicly announced in Santa Fe and everywhere throughout the kingdom at one and the same time, that by the end of July, all Jews and Jewesses with their possessions should leave Spain on pain of death and confiscation of their property. So that's another thing. They took our property. You know what they did with it? They sold it and used that to fund Christopher Columbus coming on this side of the earth.
Oh, so you mean to tell me in the history books they didn't tell you this? Because in history, as far as I'm concerned, when I was in history, they made it sound so they were romanticized it. Oh, they had money for the king and queen, and they funded the Inquisition. Not telling you where the money came from.
See, that's why it was 1492. Mm-hmm. So they defeated the Moors, mm-hmm. and then they made us leave. Mm-hmm. That's where they got the money from.
Steal, kill, and destroy.
Right.
You see the characteristics? Okay. I just want to say that.
All right, next one. On August the 2nd, 1492, which fell on the day of mourning for the twofold destruction of Jerusalem. Wow. 300,000 Jews, according to some writers, the number was much larger, left Spain to settle. Now see down the bottom right here, I got it in green.
Yeah, I see it.
It says that some Tristan Bogado said that there were more than 1.16 million Jews in Spain at the time of their expulsion. So what happened to those other ones? Because you had those that were afraid and they converted to Christianity, and then they just disappeared. They just disappeared off the face of the earth. They became a part of this community or communities in there. So anyway, they left Spain to settle in Africa.
Sounds familiar. As a matter of fact, people joke about the brother for what's the Babylon 10 book 2.
Oh, that book is on point.
So the brother, y'all in Christianity love to laugh about that, but look at this right here. That's a different account right there.
All that stuff he's saying, I don't have all the books there because some of them books are real expensive.
Right.
But everything he is saying, you can back it up with other scholarship.
Exactly.
So Africa, Turkey, Portugal, Italy, and France. And all these places, later dates, they kicked us out to, like Portugal was 1498.
But didn't Christ say something about that? Didn't Christ say something about that? In the book of Luke?
It's one of my favorite scriptures.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, we got to go scripture now because, look, you just named all the places that were scattered, right? And they had us in captivity in these places. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. What did Christ say?
The book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 24.
Go ahead.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Did we just read about the pain and stuff like that we're going through? The pain, the edge of the sword. Every captivity, brothers and sisters, we had to feel the sword. Even this one today, we're still feeling the sword. Go ahead.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
How many nations?
All nations.
All nations. Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
You see those Gentiles over there trodden down of the Gentiles, or as the Palestinians and Esau? Because Esau is not the real Jew. Okay, straight up. Go ahead.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
I just had to hit that, brother.
Sure. Let's see, Portugal, Italy, and France. On that ever memorable day, they sailed from the harbors of Cartagena, Valencia, Cadiz, Laredo, Barcelona, and Tarragona. Those places are all in Spain.
Yeah, okay.
Now, next book. The Jews and Moors in Spain. Let's see if the story is any different.
Different accounts. You see, different media references, brothers and sisters. Scholarship.
So, chapter 7, Dispersion of the Jews. And this is like a highlight of the chapter. It says, exiles transported on ships. Deuteronomy 28:6-8.
We can go there and prove that. See? So y'all think we just making this stuff up? It's proven.
Heartrending scenes on board a ship. Set ashore on deserted islands to starve. Starving Jews given the choice between death and Christianity. That's cultish.
That is a cult. Do it or die. You can't say nothing about the Arabs because let me tell you something. This is documented. It just told you. Either you accept Christianity or you're going to die. You're not freely accepting Jesus in your heart, are you? How some of y'all love to say, let's just go, no, either accept Christianity or die.
All right, it says Torquemada's edict. Torquemada was one of two Grand Inquisitors.
Okay.
Spanish Inquisition. Says the expulsion of Jews from Portugal. That was in 1498. Then next, I'm just going to jump to the highlighted part. It says ships. So this is talking about we were given a certain amount of time. I read that. It said 4 months. So the king said he would provide ships to ship us to Africa. Right? So this is what this is going into. It says ships stood ready in the harbors to carry nearly all the banished, remember that, banished 300,000 Jews whithersoever it suited the captains best. Into these ships, the exiles were literally packed, crowded together without regard to sex. So keep that in mind, y'all. It's going to come, we're going to come back to that. Now for some fun. So we're going to look at some images. So they've been persecuting us. It started in 1391. They're kicking us out of Spain, Portugal. If you didn't accept white man Jesus and white Christianity, they're kicking you out. Many of our people accepted it by force. So while all this is going on, now we're going to look at the images that they started making in 1400. This first one is King David.
And this is a shame. Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
First of all,
we need to hit that law, man. We need to what was Leviticus 17 or 18. These people.
That's lewd, brothers and sisters. Let me tell y'all something. There's nowhere in the world King David will be naked. Because he kept commandments. He walked with the Most High. It's a shame. But this is what they put out there, though. This is Christianity for you, though. I think it's
18. It's
let me see.
I can start at 7.
Yeah.
No, I can start at 6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, start at verse 6 because hold on one second.
You go all the way back to Moses. I mean, not Moses, Noah.
I know, because remember when his son?
Yeah.
And look at what happened to him. So you know the Most High ain't playing around with you know what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. This stuff right here is sickening, y'all. Look at you look at this. This stuff is sick.
That looks like a girl.
Yeah, I mean, King David didn't look nothing like that. He was a mighty man. Oh my goodness! You see what I'm talking about? That right, man. That. Oh my goodness! I hate seeing that. But anyway, Leviticus 18 to verse 6, man.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 6. None of ye shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord.
All the other nations were doing this. This is why the Most High gave us laws to be holy, set apart, because everybody was doing this. Primarily the so-called white man was doing this stuff. This is why Paul was dealing with concupiscence, because he kept seeing this in Rome, okay, and also in Greece. The Greeks was famous for this nonsense, okay. But that's verse 6. But verse 7, what you about to do something else?
No, there's just so many of them.
Verse 7.
Verse 7. The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother, and thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
You get the point.
Right, because it just goes on.
We can keep on going, because it really says the whole family. But as y'all do know, David is flesh of our flesh and bone of our bones. He was the king at this time. So the king is going to keep commandments. So he will not be walking around naked around all Israel.
So the only person, like, I go to Genesis 2 about Adam and Eve and how they were in front of each other naked and they were not ashamed. That's the only person you got any business seeing naked. Except for your little baby or something.
Right. Your wife, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to see. But this is lewd, brothers and sisters. You see stuff like this, it makes you wonder, what is the mindset of the person who's doing this?
So he got a sword, supposedly Goliath's head, and then his butt naked behind out there. Man, these people.
The only person that did that butt naked was Alexander, with a doggone leopard hat on. Okay? He's the only one that fought naked because he was lewd any doggone way. But this man, our king, never did this. Okay? Because he kept commandments. We just showed y'all laws where he never did nothing like that. It's a shame that they put stuff out there like that, brothers and sisters. And they call that art. They call that art, y'all.
These same people.
We're showing y'all, we're not making this stuff up. This is real.
Who else on the earth is making images like? They've been doing it since the time of the Greeks too.
Yeah, exactly. The time of the Greeks, yeah. That's why Nero was so ashamed, because he was looking all effeminate, you know, and that's why he was ashamed, because
like
that's
in the Greek fashion.
Right, exactly.
All right, this next one is the Madonna and Child, which they have made. They have made them all white.
I wish we had Russian icons. That's what I should have grabbed. That's okay though. But they get the point.
I'll just drop one in there just for the cause, man.
Mm-hmm. Y'all see who's doing these images?
The white angels.
Mm-hmm. Like the angels look like that.
This was one of the few ones where they have the Madonna and Child, and the breast wasn't hanging out.
Right, exactly. Tell me about it.
These people lose.
We're showing y'all this is Christianity for you.
Right, so this one is called the Filippo Lippi. No, this is the Luca del Robbia. Now we're going to the Filippo Lippi. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's Mary, white baby Jesus, white God looking down on him. Oh, now here we go. Here comes Jesus, white Jesus. Mm-hmm. So look at Christ. Mm-hmm. What does he have on?
What in the heck are they doing? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, is that a dove? That's supposed to be a dove?
It's supposed to be a dove.
Must be his baptism.
As a dove ascending into heaven. But see, you see who's doing this? Leonardo da Vinci was commissioned to do this.
That is not the description of Christ's hair, bro. It's not white.
Mm-mm.
It's stringy.
Mm-hmm. His feet ain't like fine. His feet ain't like brass.
None of them like brass.
It looks like his pink feet.
Yeah.
See, we're not making mockery. We're just showing y'all the discrepancies.
And he got on a loincloth.
Why would he be showing his naked? He's showing. It's almost like he's showing.
Yo, this is the Lord. It's supposed to be the Lord.
Right. We showing y'all the mentality. This is supposed to be art.
Yeah, this is the baptism of Christ by Verrocchio and Leonardo da Vinci, 1470. See this? So you can see it. Here come these white images, and they kicking us out at the same time. Oh, y'all can't keep commandments. You're going to have to either accept this, you're going to accept this Christianity, or you got to go, or you got to die. One or the other.
If you were a Judaizer,
right,
you were done.
A commandment keeper.
You was a commandment keeper, you were done. Same way today, they hate commandments. The average Christian hates commandments. And all they're following is their four church fathers.
Yeah, right.
That's all you're following. I'm serious. I'm not trying to be funny. You're following the former church fathers of Christianity because they did the same thing to our people.
And we're going to touch some of them too. Oh, they're not going to go unscathed.
Oh, no. It got to be touched.
All right, the next one, the Assumption of the Virgin. Painted in 1515 to 1518. And this is, see, it says Italian Renaissance.
Yep.
Next on the list, the Assumption of the Virgin. Oh, Assumption. Okay, so this is Mary being carried up to heaven to God by naked angels.
Why you gotta be naked all the time? That's oh my goodness.
Well, at least Mary got on clothes this time.
Yeah, it's concupiscence again.
These people, man. What is their obsession with naked babies, man? What's their obsession with nakedness, period?
Right. It's nowhere in the scriptures that tell you to be naked. Nakedness really is to be shameful, and it represents sin. Because remember, if you're naked, it means you're in the midst of sin.
Right.
That's what the scripture says. So why would you want to portray that in sacred pain? That's supposed to be sacred. So you're dealing with the Lord and disciples and angels. You don't want to make them looking, like.
You know what? They spiritually letting us know who they are. Exactly. Remember what you said earlier? You want me to go to it? Hebrews 12.
Yep, profound. Profane. Hebrews 12 and 16.
My goodness.
And we're telling y'all straight, man, this man is telling on himself with his painting. All the stuff that he's doing, he's telling on himself. Because tell me, what in your right mind would want you to take the Lord himself and make him look profane like that? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to make him naked?
And these are people that's been teaching us the Bible.
Right.
Teaching us how to worship God.
Right. When the God clearly tells you shouldn't see your nakedness. But yeah, you're telling people, let's make them naked. Let's make the angels naked. I mean, where do you see naked angels in the scriptures? Who comes up with this stuff, y'all? What type of spirit is on you to paint a picture of the Lord, the angels, naked?
Even the Most High.
Even the Most High. When the 16th chapel?
Yeah,
they're supposed to be the Most High touching mankind. It's wickedness. I'm telling you, it's wickedness. It is the book of Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. It tells you.
The book of Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator.
Oh, well, you know what fornication means? It means to have sexual relations outside of marriage. And also inordinate affection, such as homosexuality and bestiality. Okay? Fornication. Go ahead.
Or profane person. As Esau.
As who?
As Esau.
Go ahead.
Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
He sold his birthright because he despised his birthright. For some of y'all keep saying, oh, he got tricked by Jacob. It just told you he sold his birthright. They tell you that in Christianity. Jacob was a trickster. But that's gonna keep on going. Oh,
madness. I forgot to include this, but I just thought about it.
okay.
Because since we're talking about being lewd, and we're about to go to this dude, I gotta pull up his dad, man.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm about to add this.
The Borgias.
Yep.
Okay.
This is about Rodrigo. Rodrigo Borgia. Caesar Borgia's father.
The white image of Christ, which y'all always constantly see, that's his father. So the Borgias was looked at as a was they an upper class family? They were upper class family, I think.
They didn't start out that way, but they ended up because it says he rose up the ladder pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Oh, here we go. Says about this book is called The Renaissance by Will Durant. Page 404. It says about 1466, he formed a more permanent attachment with Venosa de Catanei, then some 24 years old. Unfortunately, she was married to Domenico di Aregnano, but Domenico left her in 1476 to Rodrigo, who became priest in 1468. Venosa bore 4 children in 1474. Giovanni in 1476. Caesar, who we shall call him Caesar. In 1480, Lucretia. In 1481, Geoffrey. So Caesar Borgia and Lucretia is who you see in the Last Supper. That's him over and over and over, and her over and over and over in the picture of the Last Supper. These 4 were ascribed to Venosa on her tombstone and were at one time or another acknowledged by Rodrigo as his own. So Rodrigo, he's the Pope, and he had 4 children out of wedlock. How can you swing that?
Especially when y'all in your own doctrine said the priest can't marry and the priest can't have sex. So really, he's going against your own doctrine of Catholicism because the priests don't supposed to have sex, right? So how he got children out of wedlock? Because he's a fornicator. We just proved he's a fornicator.
4 kids.
4. That's a dog.
These are people that are teaching you the Bible,
right? And matter of fact, the white image of Christ, that's his father.
Yep.
Think about that, brothers and sisters.
Speaking of which, next on the list, Caesar Borgia.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him.
You know him as White Man Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, I don't know when this particular one was painted. But that's the most common one where he's holding up the hand. Now, this one here, what is this called? I can't remember what this is called. But this is the one. This one here. I can't remember the name of it. But you have the Saudi prince. Matter of fact, I'm going to look that up.
They make him look so effeminate too, man.
I know.
That's what makes me angry with these pictures, y'all. It's bad enough you have him looking like a doggone lily white Edomite. But then they make him look so effeminate. He don't even look like a man. It looks like you could, you know what I'm saying? You could basically take a part of him and put it and just say, that's a woman, that's a man. You can't tell the difference between it. And it goes to show y'all, even in their paintings, you know, look at that.
Read that.
Saudi crown prince bought what? $450 million? Da Vinci painted?
That picture of Christ. This dude is, how are you You believe in Islam.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you spend $450 million on a effeminate white man?
A false image of Christ on top of that. That's a false image. You spent all that money. Shoot. He could have gave me that money. I would have painted a black one for him. Save your money.
I got it, man. Yeah, I definitely got to put that in there.
I'm telling you,
You can't make this stuff up.
It's
man.
amazing.
You cannot make this
And
stuff
I thought
up.
The doggone Mohammedans didn't even believe in Christ.
Yeah, I was looking.
So why would you even do that?
When I woke up this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a video playing, I just let the TV play at night.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, it was this white guy, and he's going around to mosques showing the artwork of what do you call them? I said mosque, but what they worship in?
Temples?
No.
You talking about the Mohammedans?
Yeah.
Mosque.
Oh, okay.
Mosque, yeah.
So that he's going around, he's showing the different architecture, and he said people believe that in Islam there are no images. He said they're obscure, but they do have images, but they don't do no image of God. And he said now the Jews, they don't have any images, and all of this comes out of the Old Testament, right? And he said, but the Christians, they completely ignore that commandment. These people, these pseudo-white Christians, they don't believe, they don't keep no commandments. Images everywhere of the white man. All right, now, here we go with some more madness. All right, this is the Transfiguration. Is the last painting by the Italian High Renaissance master Raphael. This was created in 1516 to 1520. Keep in mind now, I said 1492 is an important date. So 1492, your black behind is out of there. Either you gone back to Africa or Turkey or somewhere, getting away from these white Christians, and they making all these white images. They changing doctrines, making Bibles, everything. And you're behind gone, or you completely accepted white Christianity and you keeping your mouth shut. And so now everybody in the picture is white, and Jesus is ascending up to heaven. At least he got clothes on. My goodness. Next one. Oh, here we go. Sistine Chapel ceiling. Painted by Michelangelo between 1508 and 1512. Another, 1505 is when they asked and got permission from the Pope to put us in slavery over on this side, to start shipping us over here. That's another date to keep in mind. It ain't no 1619. Matter of fact, they started taking us out of Africa. The Portuguese did. They went into Africa in 1415, taking us and making us slaves, taking us back to Portugal. And then there it is. Oh, no, I was wrong. White God got on a toga. So there's a Sistine Chapel, there's a naked Adam, and God has a toga on, and everybody around him is naked, and they're holding on to complete madness.
2 Thessalonians.
Yeah, let's go there. This would be a perfect time. Let's go there and
This is a shame,
Maccabees.
y'all. We're showing y'all something, y'all. Who's doing this stuff, y'all? I mean, this stuff, I'm telling y'all need to pay attention to when we hit these scriptures. Because this is exactly what Paul was talking about in Thessalonians. He's explaining to you things that's going to come to pass, what is happening. We're going to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, start at verse 3.
The book 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Let no man deceive you by any means, by false images, rhetoric, religion, all that stuff. That's what Paul is talking about, because he understands what they're doing at this particular time. They're starting to transition during this time as well. Read on.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
That has happened to us. We're in captivity, 70 AD. The falling away. Israel had to go into great captivity. That is happening. We're still falling away now. Read on.
That man of sin be revealed.
We're seeing it right now with the images, with the politics, with the wars. The man of sin, go ahead.
The son of perdition.
The son of hell. The son of perdition. Read on.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Who is opposing? Because how we know he opposes? Because he's putting up naked pictures when the commandments say you should not see the nakedness. He's opposing the commandments. Okay, who opposeth, right? It says who opposeth and exalt himself above all. Who's doing that? Calls himself God, Adam, Jesus, Mary, all these things. You exhort the angels. He exhort himself above all. Go ahead.
It sure ain't the Arab man.
The Arab man ain't doing this. Nobody, the Chinese man ain't doing this. Who doing this? The so-called white man's doing it. And y'all accepting it. And if we tell y'all that, oh, y'all just pushing race. No, we ain't. We showing y'all what the Bible say.
Right.
Go ahead. So what does it say again, brother? Who opposeth? Go ahead.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
That's what's happening. He calls himself God. Look at that. That's supposed to be God. But if we go to Daniel 7 and 9, it's going to show you that God don't look nothing like that.
His head was a pure wool.
Right.
I don't know what is that.
I don't know what the heck that is. But that's the point. They're not going according to as it is written. But read on, brother.
Hair like an emu.
Tell me about it. Go ahead.
So,
or that is worship.
Or that is worship. So that he, as God,
go ahead,
serve in the temple of God.
Go ahead.
Showing himself that he is God.
That he is God. Who is doing this, brothers and sisters? Who's doing this? Who is painting pictures of himself as God? Who is basically painting his pictures of Christ himself? The angels,
the disciples.
Who's doing all this?
Man, I'm sick of seeing that picture of Apostle Paul being a redhead.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
When Paul was mistaken as an Egyptian, the scriptures say that in the book of Acts. He was mistaken as an Egyptian. The ancient Egyptians are dark-skinned people. So to sit there and paint a picture of Apostle Paul as a redhead Edomite, that's a damn lie. You're falling right in line with the prophecies. We're not making this stuff up.
He can't help himself, man.
Go ahead, brother.
He cannot help himself.
See, we can hit scriptures all day on this stuff, but it's madness.
All right, I hope that's the last image. Oh no, the Last Supper.
Oh my goodness. Which is Passover, by the way. The Last Supper is Passover.
Right.
Well, I have to say that, Jake, because they would say the Last Supper, it wasn't Easter. Okay? It was what? It was Passover. Okay? That's what the Last Supper is.
So, the Last Supper is a late 15th century mural painting by Italian artists. So, the 15th century is the 1400s. So, this was... I'll just read it. This work is assumed to have been started around 1495 to 1496 and was commissioned as part of a plan of renovations to the church and its convent buildings by Leonardo's patron, Ludovico Sforza, Duke of Milan. So, this was in 1495. The paintings of White Jesus was 1499 to 1500. all this stuff while you're getting us out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can show everybody that you're the people.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff takes time. It takes time because for hundreds of years they're putting us into captivity, and then we lose the understanding of who we are.
Right.
And everybody assumes that they're the people.
Well, since you said that, when you go to the book of Psalms 83,
Okay.
it tells you no more Israel, no more remembrance. Because their job is to bury Israel. Is to make us not know that we are the people. Same way today.
Mm-hmm.
You call yourself anybody else but call yourself an Israelite, you got a fight on your hands. Social media platforms, they will try to get at you, especially with us, with them trying to take out our websites and stuff. It shows y'all that if we call ourselves Moors, acting crazy, calling ourselves Moors, holding up stuff, or we was call ourselves Muslims, Africans, whatever you want to call it, Egyptians, they wouldn't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you call yourself an Israelite, problem.
Now everybody want to come running.
Everybody want to come at us now. You black Hebrew Israelites. I never seen the term black Hebrew Israelite in the Bible.
Me either.
So I don't know where they get that nonsense from. But anyway, let's see.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
Book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2.
Go ahead, brother.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Lifted up their head in pride. Because that's what they have on them to do what they're doing against us. It's pride. All the nations, but primarily the ringleader, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Crafty counsel is thought out and planned. Same way with the Renaissance, what they were doing, they planned this perfectly. Get us out the way, change the images, and put themselves up as the people.
Yeah, because remember it started 1391.
Right.
They finally kicked us out
Right.
1492. It took 100 years.
Right, see, it took time. See, the white man thinks hundreds of years into the future. Go ahead, brother.
And consulted against verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And they have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Go ahead.
And have consulted against thy hidden ones.
The hidden ones are the Israelites, which is us. We are the hidden ones, okay? Why are we hidden? Because we don't know who we are, and they're hiding our identity. That's still going on today. Our identity is still being hidden. They're calling us Gentile names, such as African American, Hispanic, Native Americans. That's what they're doing. The scriptures say they would call us bywords and proverbs. That's a prophecy. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. They have said,
Go ahead.
Come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
How do you cut them off from being a nation? By putting them in captivity and taking their heritage and taking their understanding and taking away their language. Let us know we're not Israel. That's the best way to cut us off from being a nation, by calling us another nation. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
No more in remembrance. So we're called Africans. Like I just told you, African Americans were being called,
CDs.
CDs, right.
Yeah. They got all the CDs know is that the Portuguese and the Spanish took them from Africa and sold them as slaves into what is that? India.
We keep reading. I want verse 5,
Verse 5.
and 6. That's all I want. That's those two.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
Well, one consent, because they're all together. One consent. They're all in agreements. Go ahead.
They are confederate against thee.
Confederate. Ain't that funny? They use that word confederate. The Confederacy. Go ahead.
The tabernacles of
The
Edom.
ringleader. Start all with Edom. Okay, go ahead.
Of Moab and the Hagarenes.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
What you know is the Arabs, what they call the Arabs. Go ahead.
So the Christians and the Muslims.
Right. And of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
Those are Africans. Go ahead.
Gebal and Ammon.
Ammon's going to be the Japanese. And go ahead.
And Amalek.
That's what I wanted. Amalek is the chief tribe of Esau. He is what you know today is with the so-called Jews, the Zionists. That's who he's talking about. They separated the two because it's weird with Esau. You know what I'm saying? The chief tribe, they think they're different people anyway. Let's just be honest. I mean, the regular Edomites don't like them anyway. Okay? But at the end of the day, Amalek is what you know as today is the elite. It'd be the, it would be what you know as the so-called Jews today. Okay? The Zionists, basically. I just wanted to bring that point out. That's crafty counsel. What they're doing here is very crafty.
Mm. All right, so the next book is this one, because I said keep 1492 in mind. Mm-hmm. This is the Critical Review or Annals of Literature, Volume 57.
Pretty interesting.
Remember, we read banished Jews. I said, remember, keep in mind, banished Jews.
Okay.
So, this, let's see, I think I got two. Yeah, I got two pictures. I'm going to read the highlighted part in the first one. So it says, and to settle colonies in Congo, Angola. It's talking about the Portuguese and the Spaniards. They were the ones, because they were the first two, and they got permission from the Pope to go into Africa, settle in these places, and take us as slaves. So,
sounds familiar. What happened when we talk about up in Canada?
Right.
The Pope was behind that.
Right.
And the Queen of England was behind that.
Even making the people slaves in South America. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, they discovered cocaine, and that the natives would use it when they worked, and so they got them hooked on it. And was making them use it when they made them, they was going and sending them into mines, getting gold, silver, and whatever. And then they was giving it to them and got them hooked on it and was selling it to them. And guess who got, tribute off of that? The damn Catholic Church.
You know something, y'all? Y'all have a lot to answer for. You in Catholicism, a lot of wickedness that they behind.
Their sins have reached up to heaven.
Yes,
man.
indeed. Yes, indeed. You can't make this stuff up. Let me tell y'all something. Their nakedness is being shown. Mm-hmm. Their nakedness, which is shame. Believe that. Sin.
All right. And to settle colonies in Congo, Angola, and other places which they had till then neglected. Prince Henry's colonies were enlarged by his successors. King John II, in 1492, expelled all the Jews to the island of St. Thomas, which is Saint Tomé. I got it on one of my maps. I might drop it in there. Mm-hmm. It's on the western banks of Africa. It's on West Africa. It's other islands too, which had been discovered in 1471, and to other Portuguese settlements on the continent of Africa. And from these banished Jews, the Black Portuguese, as they are called. Now, why are they calling us the Black Portuguese? These are not white people. So they know what they're doing. They kicked us out, and then here come all these daggone images of white man Jesus, white Mary, white God, white angels, naked baby, all this madness.
Catholicism.
Right.
Idolatry.
Even, I don't, it's in one of these books right here. I know where it's at. Even in the book, I don't want to go there.
Go ahead.
Much, but
yeah.
Herod, he brought the Greek fashions to Jerusalem, and it said that he had a place of exercise, and our people were astonished because they was in there naked wrestling. The same people. Was Herod and Idumean and Edomite.
Yep.
Same people.
Converts.
Same people doing the same thing over and over and over and over. So now, and these banished Jews, the black Portuguese, as they are called, and the Jews in Loango, who are despised by the very Negroes are descended. So they know we the Jews are Negroes, our own people that didn't follow their heritage being a Jew, despise our brothers and sisters that did.
Same way today in Christianity. Y'all despise us for telling y'all the truth about the religion you're in. So you despise us for trying to keep commandments. The same spirit was back then. You hate your own brothers and your sisters, but you love your oppressor. That's what's scary about that.
All right. I gotta read this. I didn't plan on reading it, but I got to. It says 30 years after their settlement, not less than 156,000 arobes of sugar were exported, and the engines of 50 sugar works turned by slaves. These Negroes were purchased in Guinea, Congo, and Manicongo. So the same, we got taken there and banished there, then they gonna come back and take us and make us slaves.
Same spirit.
Yeah, so Negroes were purchased in Guinea, Congo, and Manicongo, the same place they took us. And the colonists had plantations furnished with from 150 to 3,000 Negro slaves.
And you should be sold to your enemies for bond men and bond women.
Now look at this painting here.
That's supposed to be who?
This is Saint Mary of the Winds. So it says the Virgin of the Navigators. See, Virgin of the Navigators by Alejo Fernandez. 1531 to 1536 on oil panel. So now this is supposed to be the Virgin Mary, and she's supposed to be protecting these Edomites when they're on their ships. But here's the beautiful thing about this. When you look under her arm, look at your Tainos, the natives right there.
Oh my goodness.
The first painting of the natives
and they're
of
dark.
America.
And
yes,
they're dark.
with woolly hair. Look at them.
Yup. Before they got mixed in. Yup. Before they got mixed, because they mixed in with them.
Yep.
That's what made them change.
So I'm glad they made that painting right there.
Oh, that tells on them right there. That told on them. They told themselves. Because it supports when we talk about how Ephraim is a cake unturned.
Right.
So it supports it. Because that was the time of the Renaissance period when the Tainos and we know the Hispanics was being tortured, put into slavery as well, mixed in with the so-called white man. That's why you have some names like Fernandez and Lopez. Because that's a really Edom. Those are Edomite names. It's Spanish. It's Spaniards. So when you hear our people being called those names, you know, Fernandez and like I said, Lopez, those names are Spaniard names.
So you had the first slaves that was brought over here had Spanish names because they came from Spain and Portugal.
See.
So, like, when you got baptized, when they baptized you, just like over here, they changed your name.
Yep.
They changed your name. So this Spain and Portugal, I got a book, it's on loan, Before the Mayflower, and it tells you the first slaves were brought over here from Spain and Portugal, and they had Spanish names.
See.
Can't make this stuff up, man.
That's why some of you brothers and sisters, Hispanics, who want to hold dear to these names, those are Edomite names. They just so happens they speak Spanish. That's what the term Spanish come from Spain. That's what we keep trying to tell y'all. The so-called white man has been up and down the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
the Portuguese. We just proved that the Spaniards, the English, the French, they're all colonized us. That's why we speak in these different languages, brothers and sisters.
All right, so now we're going to deal with this devil right here.
Oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther.
Oh, my goodness.
So I had some stuff I wanted to put in here about him, but I changed my mind.
And this is who Martin Luther King is named after, y'all.
Right.
His father named him and his son, because the name was really originally Michael. But for some odd reason, some white priest convinced Martin Luther King's father to name themselves Martin Luther. But you're going to find out this guy was wicked as hell. He hated us.
Yes, he did.
He hated Israel, the true Israelites. He hated them to the point where he helped the Protestant reform to remove.
But he got, so here's, it's just too much to go into, but here's a book he did. It's called On the Jews and Their Lives. Matter of fact, I tried to look this up, and I couldn't even find it no more. I don't know what's going on. But they're really trying to hide history. Mm-hmm. So he wrote that. He couldn't stand us. He felt, because he believed everybody could be saved. The kingdom is for everybody. And he hated us because of the birthright.
Typical Christianity. Mm-hmm. They hate us.
So, Martin Luther. The theology of Martin Luther. Let's read this.
Let's see what he had to say.
All right, this is Wikipedia. Theology of Martin Luther. The theology of Martin Luther was instrumental in influencing the Protestant Reformation. So I felt it was important to go into this because not only were they changing the images, here comes the changing of the doctrines.
Makes sense.
This is huge. Mm-hmm. So specifically topics dealing with justification by faith, the relationship between the law and the gospel, also an instrumental component of Reformed theology, and various other theological ideas. Although Luther never wrote a systematic theology or a summa in the style of Thomas Aquinas. Let me drop down. Here we go. Here we go. Justification by faith. This is the guy that came up with justification by faith. Now, what does justification mean? It means you've committed a sin and now you need to be justified or made right. They don't understand. Oh my God. Let me. So it says, this one and firm rock, which we call the doctrine of justification, insisted Luther, is the chief article of the whole Christian doctrine, which comprehends the understanding of all godliness. Y'all haven't figured out that you're supposed to have clothes on.
No, that's right.
And you know godliness. Mm-hmm. Lutherans tend to follow Luther in this manner. For the Lutheran tradition, the doctrine of salvation by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone, is the material principle upon which all teachings rest. So, he teaches that salvation is through Christ alone, through faith alone, by grace alone.
So he's making up his own righteousness.
Mm-hmm. Literally, he is.
He make up his own. That's his doctrine. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. We're just reading about a man coming up with his own righteousness, his own doctrine. Think about that. Some of y'all still following this today and don't even realize you're following it. That's the scary part. You don't know the origin of what you're following. This man just made up his own doctrine and you're following it. But yet it doesn't coincide with the scriptures. Why y'all think he immediately helped take out the Apocrypha with the Protestant reform?
Oh yeah, we're gonna hit that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This man, you see these demons? This is what they do.
Look. It says, righteousness not only comes from Christ, it actually is the righteousness of Christ and remains outside of us, but is merely imputed to us rather than infused into us through faith. That is why faith alone makes someone just and fulfills the law.
Fulfills the what?
Fulfills the law.
Y'all see this? There's no commandment. There's no scripture that supports what he's saying.
Didn't you put Romans 13 last week?
You better believe I did. That's under verse 8. That's I checked. That's I checked, brother. Yeah, I got it. You best believe that, brother. You see how the truth gonna spring out of the earth, brothers and sisters? Eat up all these lies. You see, this is why we go so hard on this stuff, because of stuff like this.
See?
Romans 13:8.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 8.
Go ahead, brother.
Owe no man anything, but to love one another.
Go ahead.
For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
Fulfilled the law. How do we love? According to the scriptures, according to the commandments.
But see, his doctrine is that faith alone fulfills the law.
Oh, let's keep going.
They don't believe Paul either.
Right, because that's the case, then he must not understand them or none. Verse 9.
Verse 9. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery.
A law.
Thou shalt not kill.
A law.
Thou shalt not steal.
A law.
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
A commandment.
Like he did.
Exactly. You just lied on the Most High.
Thou shalt not covet.
Good, but they covered our understanding. They covered our identity. They took it and stole it. That's coveting. Go ahead.
And if there be any other commandment,
go ahead.
It is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
And the neighbor is you fellow Israelites. That's what the neighbor is talking about. Go ahead, brother.
Love, verse 10. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor.
You know, love don't work no ill to his neighbor, because guess what? I'm going to help you keep the commandments. I won't work no ill towards you to cause you to fall, or by a different doctrine. Okay, go ahead.
Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
Love is the fulfilling of the law. But give me verse 12. But give me verse 11. I want verse 11 though.
Verse 11.
Go ahead.
And that knowing the time, that now it is high time.
It's high time, because we're starting to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Israel is waking up. Go ahead.
To awake out of sleep.
Out of sleep. Sleep of doctrines. Doctrines of devils. Okay? Sleep out of doctrines. Go ahead.
For now is our salvation nearer than we believe.
Because you best believe Christ's going to come back and cleanse this place. Not with strange fire. But he's going to cleanse this place.
He's talking about justification by faith.
Ain't that the truth?
When Christ come back, shall he find faith on the earth?
Oh my goodness. they have the answer for all this. Taking away, all that, not adding to. So what else does Demon talk about?
Oh my goodness.
You just want to just shine some light on him a little bit?
So Luther came to understand justification as being entirely the work of God. I can't take it no more. So you ain't got to do nothing. They get on my nerves, man. All they doing is just keeping us in darkness. Look at that devil. Now, last book. Visual history of the King James Bible. So he's the one that started the Protestant reform. And matter of fact, he translated the New Testament into German. Because he was from, I think he lived in Worms, Germany. All right, so
But
now
before you hit this, go to Maccabees. Right quick, since before we hit this demon, let's find out is it the same spirit? Because that same spirit exists, brothers and sisters. It's sad because they've done this for so many times, you know. You can go chapter 3, verse 48.
I want to break out that other book one day soon too.
Mm-hmm.
The book on the Jews among the Greeks and the Romans, because it goes deeper into the story of how they had us. He sent.
Matter of fact, I want you to go. It's before you even do that. What's the one? That's Maccabees. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Give me one. Give me chapter 1. Give me chapter 1 and verse
156.
Give me 52. No, give me 53.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you something. This is history, y'all. We showing y'all what these demons they did to us during the time of the Greeks, and the Greeks and Romans are the same people. They were just fused together, and the Spaniards as well. Saint Esau, square across the board. This is when this man really first came into power. Go ahead.
All right, the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 53.
Go ahead.
And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
Because we tried to get away because they were persecuting us during this time. If you was caught keeping commandments during this time, you was being put to death. Okay?
Was the same thing, 1492, and it listed all the places that we fled to.
So we had to flee for succor. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 54.
Go ahead.
Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side.
Because the same thing, they still doing with idolatry. They was doing that to our people. That's why we celebrate the feast of the dedication. Go ahead.
And burnt incense at the door of the houses.
Go ahead.
And in the streets.
Go ahead.
And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law.
Sounds familiar? Rent in pieces the books of the law.
Which they found. They burnt them with fire.
Burnt them with fire. But here's the judgment for our people. Keep reading verse 57.
And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament. Or if any consented to the law. The king's commandment was
do what?
That they should put him to death.
Put him to death. So he was caught with the laws.
See who made the decree? The king. And we read King John from Portugal. Ferdinand and Isabella. So over time it's the same thing over and over. What did Paul say? Spiritual wickedness in high places. How is it that kings coming against us? Having us put to death.
Now,
being obedient.
Now jump to chapter 3 and verse 48 now, brother.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Because once they had their hands on our records and our book, which is the scriptures, this is what they did. Go ahead.
Verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So that book I got, The Jews Among the Greeks and Romans, it goes into detail as to how they asked Eleazar, which you can read about Eleazar in Maccabees. They sent letters to Eleazar asking him, could they have the Bible translated into Greek so that they could put it in their library. And then what did they do? They put their images in it.
Exactly. Now go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 6 and show y'all what they did to our forefathers and foremothers then too. See, this is what we keep trying to tell y'all. This is how we became Gentiles. Because they forced this on us, same with Christianity. They forced Hellenism on our people. That's why our people were speaking Greek, because they forced it on them and forced them worshiping idols. The same way Christianity they did the same thing. They forced you to keep idolatry.
There's neither Jew nor Greek.
Right. Neither Jew nor Greek. This is how we became Greeks. Go ahead.
Let me read verse 1 first.
Oh man, show the whole wickedness.
Verse 1.
Profound. Profane, right? Go ahead.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God.
Same thing, Christianity, same thing. Do not keep laws. Do not keep commandments.
So who would this man of Athens be? That would be the Greeks.
Exactly.
So ain't no wonder when you get to the New Testament, there's neither Jew nor Greek.
This is where Paul is talking about.
Right. Paul even went to Athens. He went to the synagogue.
Paul even spake Greek.
Right.
Because where was he at? Greece. He was going around trying to deal with the Israelites. Go ahead.
Now verse 6. Neither was it lawful.
No.
Oh, you want me to keep going?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Give it to him raw.
You want the context?
I want the context, brother. And to pollute also the temple. Who's doing this? Who's polluting the God's temple? Who's doing this, brothers and sisters? I'm just showing y'all this man's in power underneath the Greeks. Go ahead.
And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem. And to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus.
Ain't that something? So you do it, so that's Greek mythology. Okay? Dealing with other gods. The Lord said there shall not have no other gods before him, but you're breaking commandments. Read.
And that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
Go ahead.
The coming in of this mischief.
Mischief, because it's breaking commandments. Read on.
Was sore and grievous to the people.
Because we knew it was wrong. That's why it was grievous to our nation. Go ahead.
Here come that lewdness.
Here we go. Yeah, the lewdness again. The scriptures are showing you. Go ahead.
Verse 4. For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles.
Because they were called Gentiles because these were real Gentiles, the so-called white man, reveling, partying, having all kinds of wild parties. That's what they were doing. Go ahead.
Who dallied with harlots.
Dallied with what?
With harlots.
Having orgies and having concupiscence going on. Go ahead.
And had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
Go ahead.
The altar also was filled with profane things.
Didn't it just say he was profane? He's profane along with them. Go ahead.
Which the law forbid.
Go ahead.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew
or Judaizer.
So that's why there's neither Jew nor Greek. You're all one. You still an Israelite.
But jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Hold on. Did we just read that? What they did in 1492?
Exactly. They did this way before that, though. So the same people doing the same mischief. The same people doing the same murderous tactics. You can't make this. This is history. This is why the Lutherans won't take this out. The Protestants don't want you saying. You see what we just read? We read to y'all what they took out. Because they don't want you to trace them through history. See, you trace this man, I keep telling y'all, wars, money, politics. You can never go wrong. We can't make this stuff up. I'm going to tell you again, war, money, politics. you're not going to get around it. Y'all think we crazy, right? Do your research. You got more?
Yeah, there's more.
Okay.
So, the visual history of the King James Bible. So, the early Wycliffe Bible, 1382.
Ain't that something?
See, listen, all you got to do is look at the timeline. You can see. All of this stuff is coming to pass. People look at prophecy and they think it's just something all of a sudden going to happen. It don't work like that.
After this, we got to go right to Revelation 13.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Whenever you finish up.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we're almost at,
Okay.
This is going to be it.
Okay.
So the early Wycliffe Bible. Well, check this out. So a mystery surrounds the translators of the earlier version. Their identities are somewhat uncertain, but it is believed that Nicholas of Hereford collaborated with Wycliffe, possibly with the assistance of John Purvey and John Trevisa. At least 3 manuscripts of the early version provide a variety of translation information. M.S. Bodley, 959, housed at the Bodleian Library in Oxford, is a large manuscript with many corrections and alterations formerly believed to be the original autograph of the Wycliffe Old Testament. The manuscript includes the Old Testament book of Baruch among the prophetical books. Baruch 3:20 ends abruptly at the bottom of the page.
Why Baruch, huh? Because Baruch was a scribe of Jeremiah.
Right.
How about that? For some of you, people keep saying it's not authoritative or it's not God-breathed. Isn't that what they say?
So we're showing you what's God-breathed and what's not God-breathed. These people ain't God-breathed. Their images ain't God-breathed. And their doctrine ain't God-breathed.
Tell me about it. It goes to show y'all it's the doctrine of devils. Straight up.
All right. William Tyndale, 1494 to 1536. All this stuff happening the same time frame. Everything is changing. Now the next one, Miles Coverdale, 1488 to 1569. He's the dean of translators. I'm going to read this one. William Tyndale paved the way for the approval of an English Bible. However, his untimely death in 1536 prevented his translation of the entire Bible. If I'm not mistaken, they burnt him to death for making the Bible.
Sounds familiar.
I wonder who did it.
You best believe it. Yours truly.
But Miles Coverdale, a translator and scholar in his own right, completed Tyndale's task and brought the Bible in its entirety to every church in England. So you got Edomites speaking all these different languages, so they doing these different translations. But even to this very day, they still, why do you need all these translations? Just over and over and over. Oh, this is easier. No, it's not easier. You done changed it.
They told me that when I was in Christianity, I had the faithful book called the Strive Man Bible, the NIV. And they told me that it's easier to understand the translation. But what I did not know is it was some scriptures that were taken out of it.
Right.
So it's showing you, no, that's a lie. And I found that out for myself. Crazy.
Now, something just disappeared. So every church in England. Oh, here we go. Now, Abbott's. So here's another one that we've only got 2 left. So it says, it went from, what's his name? Coverdale. Something's missing. Something is missing. Let me double check. Should be something after Miles. In fact, I don't need to go there. I can go here. Pull up my files. See what I've got. Recent. Let's see. Yeah, recent. That's what's missing right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's what's missing. All right, it says, some may wonder why the apocryphal books are included in the English Bible. What they might not realize is that in versions predating the Coverdale, that's why I went to that guy, predating the Coverdale, the apocryphal books are scattered throughout the Bible. In the Coverdale Bible, the Apocrypha is located between the Old and New Testaments. While the change? Since church traditions differ on what books should be contained in the canon of inspired scripture, the word Apocrypha means different things to different religious groups. In its general sense, the word refers to books that are considered useful but not inspired. For instance, the Roman Catholic Church believes the Apocrypha is inspired, while the Protestant Church does not. Who are the Protestants? That started with Martin Luther.
Mm-hmm. Sounds familiar?
Coverdale separated the apocryphal books from the text of the Old and New Testament and placed them between the testaments. So, not only they're changing images, mm-hmm. they're changing doctrine, and now they're taking out books.
Who's responsible for this, brothers and sisters? Who's responsible for this? See, we're showing y'all history. We're showing y'all how things came to be. We're showing y'all who's responsible for this madness. Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing. Y'all need to know why this stuff is happening. The timeline shows you. The Renaissance rebirth, what you do, you get rid of the people that are the people of the book, mm-hmm. put them in slavery, take their nationality from them, discontinue them from their heritage, take yourself, exalt yourself up, paint the likeness of your images, push your doctrine, change the doctrine, take books out, rearrange everything, and then throw Christianity in there. Masterful plan. Isn't that something? Masterful. Crafty counsel. Basically what it is. What's the characteristics again? Steal, kill, and destroy. You choose. Listen. Listen? We showing y'all history, y'all.
So the Protestants wanted it out.
Uh-huh.
All right, this guy, Abbott. So Abbott's most controversial act mm-hmm. was enacting a 1615 statute calling for the inclusion of the Apocrypha in every copy of the King James Version.
Who gave this man authority to do all this?
Oh, but he's saying keep it.
Right.
Make it a statute
right.
to keep it in there. Mm-hmm. While the Protestants do not generally accept the Apocrypha as scripture today.
Because Martin Luther, who hated the Jews,
right,
had a masterful plan. And guess what? Some of y'all say today it's unauthoritative because you have that Martin Lutheran spirit on you.
Yep. That faith and no works.
Exactly.
Spirit.
You get it from him. You see how this stuff come to pass, brothers and sisters? Amazing.
Now, last one
okay.
says, I still got. We're gonna hit these things real quick, but
Okay.
this is the last snapshot out of the book.
Okay.
In number 7, it says, after 1800, the books of the Apocrypha were included only in select editions. So that 1800 Apocrypha's gone. Them books is gone. Now you got your 66 book Bible.
Yep.
Which don't even have all the verses in that. Complete madness. Now you don't know nothing. You listening to your enemy that then changed everything.
Yes. You see the importance of the timeline, brothers and sisters? Because it shows you how things come to be and how the crafty counsel is able to even be pushed on our people, and you believe this.
So you got 1391, the Renaissance starts. Now you have us, we being kicked out.
Right.
While all that's going on, here come all these images of the so-called white man.
Right.
The doctrine is being changed. Now they making all these Bibles, they taking stuff out. Now, real quick, we're just gonna hit the time. We're gonna show you one more thing. These new doctrines and the time periods. So here we have the Baptists.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Let's see. It says Baptists. Historians trace the earliest Baptist church to 1609 in Amsterdam.
That's something.
Your Baptist religion starts in 1609 when your behind is in slavery.
1609, 1619, then being brought over here, even before that.
Yeah.
But still, it's showing you the timeline.
So they were making you slaves in the 1400s.
Right. You was in bondage the whole time. Meanwhile, they manipulating the scriptures. They imposing on the text. Literally.
Oh, look.
What's up?
Baptists form a major branch of Protestant Christianity.
Ain't that's what you know today. That's what y'all following today. The same Christianity that the Ku Klux Klan follow, most of them Protestants. This is where they get it from.
Look at this.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It says professing Christians, believers only, believers baptism as opposed to infant baptism, and doing so by complete immersion. Meaning, you have to be completely dipped. Come on! That ain't even the water you need. Like, come on.
That's a doctrine. We're showing y'all doctrines.
1609. Baptist. All right. Okay, what's this next one? Ooh. Let's pull it up. Pentecostalism.
Uh-oh. Another doctrine. This is religious. This is what you call religion, brothers and sisters. The difference in us and religion, we don't have this. We just keep straight commandments in the faith of Christ. That's the difference. These are doctrines. Calvinism, Lutheran. Okay, you're dealing with Baptists. You're dealing with Pentecostal. You're dealing with what they call even Catholicism. You see, I just named off denominations.
I don't even know when they came up with this.
What?
Pentecostalism. I don't even see a date. Look at all this writing, man. A bunch of lies. Oh, here's something. Pentecostalism began among poor and disadvantaged people in the USA at the start of the 20th century. So that's 1900.
Yeah.
That's new. Cannot make this stuff up.
So these are doctrines, y'all, that is not of the Most High. It's doctrines of men. It's precepts of men. Christ warned us about this.
Oh, here's another one. History of Lutheranism.
Okay.
Lutheranism as a religious movement originated in the early 16th century, that would be 1500s, Holy Roman Empire as an attempt to reform the Roman Catholic Church. That's your Protestant reform, and all kinds of madness come out of the Protestant reform and Protestants, period. Catholicism was already madness. They try to separate themselves from it, and it's complete madness anyway.
You just can't because you're the mother church.
Here's one you might have heard of. You might have heard of this one, this religion knocking at your door on a Saturday morning. The history of the Jehovah's Witnesses.
You know, we didn't hit them so much. They probably should be like MIA, but just let's hear what they have to say about that.
Just real quick. Jehovah's Witnesses originated as a branch of the Bible student movement, which developed in the United States in the 1870s among followers of Christian restorationist minister Charles T. Russell.
I tell y'all that.
That's enough of that madness. What I got? I think we got two more. Oh, here's one. Here's an interesting one. Remember the guy was when we did the crazy pastors, and the guy was talking about the 144,000.
Oh yeah.
He was one of these dudes.
Okay, who was this cat?
History of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Oh my goodness.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church had its roots in the Millerite movement of the 1830s and 1840s. Come on, man. You still in slavery. All this stuff while we're in captivity.
Showing y'all.
Even though those of us that did escape or had money to get on ships and leave Spain and Portugal, we went to Africa and fell right into the hands of the daggone Arab man who had the sword in one hand and the Quran in the other.
Right. Crafty counsel. We just read about that in Psalms 83. So the Ishmaelites, on top of that, all these people pushing their doctrine on you. We just showing y'all, listen, the Bible is telling you who are your enemies.
Right.
But you just keep on thinking, oh, y'all just pushing hate. No, we showing y'all history, historical facts.
Yep, giving you the timeline.
The timeline. You gotta come. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me see. One more.
Then we're just gonna finish it all with the prophecy. Because it's a shame, y'all. It's really a shame. But unfortunately, our people fell for it. Now it's time to awake out of deep sleep. Okay.
Methodism.
Oh my goodness.
And it just says Protestantism.
Same thing.
It's a denomination of Protestant Christianity. All it is, all this stuff is they supposedly reforming the church. All of it is complete madness. Complete madness.
You know what? Since you said, who is the church? Let's just go on who the church is right quick, and then we go right to Revelation. Because I'm getting tired of hearing the term church, bro. And it makes me sick to my stomach to hear them talk about the church so freely. Like the church, it's...
See, that's why they say believers.
Right.
I got one too.
I want Acts 8.
Yeah.
Because you always jump on Paul, but this is what Paul, because this is after the time where our brother Stephanus got put to death because he was cutting them with the scripts. He was cutting the Pharisee. He was cutting our people with the scripts because...
You know what they accuse him of the same thing they accused Paul.
Right.
He was not telling them not to keep commandments.
Right. All right, I want
81.
I use 81. Just to prove a point.
The book of Acts, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
And Saul was consenting unto his death.
For some of y'all who don't know, Saul was Paul. Saul means destroyer. Paul means builder. So at this particular time, Paul didn't have the spirit on him yet. So that's why he was consenting to Stephen's death, because he was persecuting the Israelites following Christ, not the Christians. Following Christ, not in Christianity, the Israelites following Christ. Read, I have to say that.
And at that time, there was a great persecution against the church.
Which was where?
Which was at Jerusalem.
Which was at Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And they were all scattered abroad throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles.
And that's the point. The church was always the Israelites. Okay? It says at Jerusalem. It didn't say Rome.
No.
Okay. It didn't say Rome.
Remember T.D. Jake said that.
Right.
That madness.
Right. It didn't say Rome. Because even you go back in chapter 7, it tells you the church was in the wilderness. He was in the church in the wilderness, because who was in the wilderness? The Israelites.
Yeah, let me read that, because that's important for the scripture I'm about to pull.
Acts 7.
Acts 7 and verse 38. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the likely oracles to give to us.
Oracles were to the commandments. He was given the commandments, Mount Sinai. The church is the people, is the Israelites. The congregation of Israel has always been the church, and it always will be. Not the so-called Christian church, because they want to say the Christians are being persecuted. But in chapter 8, it says the persecution against the church was at Jerusalem, not Rome.
Here's a little bomb.
You've been holding on to that one?
I've been holding on to it for a long time. They jump out the race before I can get to it.
We're dropping, brother.
Hebrews 12 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
To the general assembly and the church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, goodness, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. The church of the firstborn. We don't have to go there, but Exodus 4 and 22.
It shows you the firstborn's always been Israel. So that's self-explanatory. Precept must be upon precept, brothers and sisters. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go right to Revelation now. Let's finish it up. I want Revelation chapter 13. I want you to go to verse 12.
All right, the book of Revelation chapter 13 and verse 12.
Go ahead.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him.
This is talking about America. Okay, America is an extension of Rome. The first beast dealing with Rome, right?
Don't believe it.
Go ahead and cause what?
And cause the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
It was healed because the Renaissance, the rebirth, it was healed. We just showed y'all 1391, the timeline. It was healed because it came between the Romans and also between what was the Spanish Inquisition and the Portuguese.
And something we left out in the book of Maccabees, how they had the Senate House.
Yes.
And how they sat and they picked the president.
That's the first beast.
Yep, same thing.
The first beast, same thing. Because the Renaissance, the rebirth, they implemented what? Their policies. They implemented their politics. Okay? Democracy and so forth. Because up top it says he had two horns, like a lamb, which is Democrat and Republican. So they did it. So that's how this beast, what we know as Babylon the Great America, is patterned after this. Go ahead, brother. Verse 13.
Verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men.
So on August 6th and August 9th, 1945, two bombs were dropped. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. That's what it means when they say dropped. He used fire to come down from heaven. The Manhattan Project. That's what happened. That's what this man did. That's how you know Esau did this. Go ahead, brother. Verse 14.
Verse 14. It deceiveth them that dwell on the earth.
Go ahead.
By the means of those miracles.
Because when that happened, y'all, the war was over. He became an instant superpower after he did that miracle. Okay, go ahead.
Which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Go ahead.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast.
Who is doing that? Who is making images of the Most High? Who is making images of Christ? Because Sijabojia is the image of the beast. Go ahead.
Which had the wound by a sword and did live.
He did live. We just explained that. Go ahead.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
How do you have power? The paintings, the movies, the media, okay, radio. These things that gives power to Christianity, give the power to the image of the beast. Go ahead, brother.
That the image of the beast should both speak.
How does it speak? Through his movies. We just explained the movies. We just explained that to you. The movies, the media, that's how it makes it speak. Go ahead.
And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast
should be what?
Should be killed.
That's the cult right there. Because if you don't worship white man Jesus, you was put to death. That is the actual cult. Verse 16.
Verse 16.
Go ahead.
And he calls of all, both small and great.
Go ahead.
Rich and poor.
Go ahead.
Free and bond.
Go ahead.
To receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
And what that means, brothers and sisters, it means the mark of the beast is sin. Such as his religion, we just proved that. Such as his politics, his policies. And when you receive it in your right hand, that means you swear and you agree with your right hand. That's all that means. Not a chip going into your hand. Not the vaccine. None of that madness. What the image of what the mark of the beast is in your mind. Because it says, keep reading, because it says, or in their foreheads.
Right.
Because in your mind, you got Rome, you got ancient Rome, you got America in your forehead. In your mind. The ways of how this place does things is in your forehead. That's the mark of the beast.
You accepted his sin.
Exactly.
Because he's completely against the commandments.
You best believe
we
that.
read when we opened up we read how he as Thessalonians he opposeth all things pertaining to God.
Exactly.
Godliness.
Exactly.
He's against that.
Exactly. And just to finish up, brother, we already hit this before, but I'm gonna hit it again. I want Revelation chapter 22, and I want verse 18. We got to hit it because we have to prove the points.
The book of Revelation chapter 22 and verse 18.
Go ahead.
For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book.
The prophecy is of Christ. The Spirit of Christ is the spirit of prophecy. Go ahead, brother.
If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book.
So you adding things to the scriptures, doing things ungodly, adding images, adding all these things to the book, the Most High going to add plagues to you. Go ahead.
And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city.
Go ahead.
From the things which are written in this book.
And which nation is doing this? You best believe it. The so-called white man, known as Esau, is still doing this today. So that's what I want to bring to the point. You have anything else, brother, before we...
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, it was...
First Peter chapter 2 and verse 21 to finish up, brothers and sisters. We just want to shed some light on some history. This is biblical history, of course. Show some things on what has been going on, how things have changed with the timeline. And hopefully y'all got some out of today's class. Okay, hopefully. Hopefully y'all be able to see some things. Hopefully in the future we can go a little bit more deeper on some stuff. But just to skim off the top, okay, so 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 21.
Go ahead, brother.
For even hereunto are ye called.
You are called in his marvelous truth. Go ahead.
Because Christ suffered for us.
Go ahead.
Leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps.
You follow Christ. Go ahead.
Who did no sin.
Christ didn't even have a foolish thought. Think about that. Go ahead.
Neither was guile found in his mouth.
Because Christ told it like it was, straightforward. There was no guile or deceitfulness in his mouth. Go ahead.
Who, when he was reviled, reviled not again.
Go ahead.
When he suffered, he threatened not.
Go ahead.
But committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
And that's who judges righteously. It's the Most High himself. The book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 29. And finish up, brother. To finish up.
The book of Acts, chapter 5, and verse 29.
Go ahead.
Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said,
Go ahead.
We ought to obey God rather than men.
And that's who we must obey, brothers and sisters. We must obey the Most High Christ rather than the silly ideologies of men and lies of men. We want to give the Most High Christ all the praise and glory for allowing us to even touch on some history, on the timeline, to show y'all who gave image to the beast, who gave the the life to the image of the beast. I want to correct myself. Life into the image of the beast. We pray y'all get some out of today's class. They stay strong, stay prayed up, brothers and sisters. And we want to, like I said before, just stay strong. We love the Most High Christ. They put the Spirit on us to do this. Okay? So, like I said before, y'all stay strong, stay prayed up. And with that, we want to say, Shalom.